Moving on now, I'd like to introduce Matthew Wyatt, Partner Development Manager at Intov8 for his presentation. Thanks, Matt.
Look, thanks, Sheldon. As Daniel just mentioned, and a lot of the other panelists have mentioned, technology is really sprinting past our ability to absorb and utilize this information. It's a constant stream of data coming at people. Let me just see if I can, there we go. Oh no, I've gone too far already. Anyway, so this is what a typical site would people like to look at. They know that everything from haul trucks to hard hats are spewing forth this information, but unfortunately, most businesses, that's already been discussed, they're not actually realizing the riches that exist. So in every new technology, every new truck or whatever, introduces a more uncontrolled data into your site. And so as an example of that, here's a whiteboard from our office when we were scoping up a data for a customer. And you can see that everything down the left-hand side, these are all different data sources that exist at a site, and they're all uncontrolled. They're all speaking their own language at their own speed. Poor engineers are sitting there having to extract the data into Excel. And once again, as soon as you get Excel involved, that's another uncontrolled data source. And so what we've done is we've actually, over the course of the last decade, we've been able to create this data visibility at scale. We've been able to, for one client, they've got 10 sites, and in particular, 8 of them all flow into a single database. Multiple fleet systems, both automated and manned systems exist at the same site. Everything from, as I said, everything from the fleet to the GPS to the people, all of it actually exists all in one place now for the people at the remote operation center. They can actually go ahead and analyze. So what we've actually done is we've solved the problem of interoperability. We've done that for more than a decade. We are the only single instance multi-site production reporting, inventory accounting, and performance management system. I know it's a real mouthful, but by bringing all this information from multiple sites into one single database, we're able to give that context. And in reality, context is king when it comes to mining. Understanding how the site looks from a 10,000-foot view, and being able to track all the way back down to the machine. So what's the next step? If you look at the second sentence here, this is from Ernst Young. Only with good data can companies understand good performance. And companies that successfully use data outperform their peers by 20%. So what we've done at Innovate, we've gone ahead and turned that data into information and information into insights. And with that, we've gone ahead and partnered with a company called C4 Strategy. We've crossed the chasm and identified the largest opportunity for mining companies and the only real reason to develop a business-wide single version of the truth. Lots of businesses are looking at the maintenance issues and the equipment-related losses. They're looking at availability and mean time between failure. Like, that's all great, but the non-equipment physicals and system-related losses represent 60% of the reported $350 billion opportunity. So just as an example, I've got a quote here from our partner here. Utilizing the data from Polar, that's our software, we've been able to optimize the value derived from an existing assets to the value of $120 million for a coal mining client. So what does that actually look like in a real world? Just a quick story. They had a $5 million demurrage issue before we came along, obviously. $5 million demurrage issue, and they were then looking at stockpiles. They were looking at quality. They were looking at all the blends, that type of thing. But when they actually started to overlay our theory of constraints framework and our software over the top of the mine, they're able to track that all the way back to the point where there was 3 drill rigs running on the site. 2 of them were poorly maintained, and the business had decided not to spend the $100,000 on fixing those drill rigs, which of course the knock-on effect rolled all the way through. Now, that wasn't visible until they were able to look at the entire mine site in context. That's the real value of your data. It's not having the data, it's what you do with it, the insights you can derive from that information. And we've solved that problem. So what's your business case? So what we've gone ahead and done is we've, with C4 Strategy, we've developed a unique business and site audit to determine the value that can be derived from the implementation. So if there are any businesses in the audience, that I'd like to invite them to go ahead and contact us and see if we might be able to show you where you can find that extra, a lazy $120 million. Thanks, Sheldon. Back to you.
Thanks a lot for that, Matt. And I'd definitely like to find the lazy $120 million. That'd be quite nice.
Oh, it's in the drawer, I think.
Excellent. I'll take you up on that later, but thanks a lot for that presentation.